we were talking about the teachers are expected to use appropriate technologies, learning, and we were talking about task analysis. Task analysis is breaking down in a bigger task or a learning module into a smaller thing, smaller task, and then make one IEP, which is which is a very integral part of special education. So we make learning plans for children. So we need to use those for providing a paced learning, using flexible curriculum to leverage each child's strength and creating an ecosystem, which is again fostering inclusion in the class. Awareness and knowledge of how to teach specific learning disability child would be an integral part of teacher education programs henceforth. Sir has mentioned about the B.Ed programs, which are going to take complete change. There will be complete refurbishing of these programs. So then we see that in addition to this, we would be expected to begin with new curriculum very early on the subjects which includes the life skills like human values such as respect for all persons, empathy, tolerance, human rights, gender equality, non-violence, global citizenship, inclusion, and equity, which is again the key aspect of this policy, which looks forward towards completely humane things. I hope we are able to see some groundwork on this, which happens into, changes into reality. And there is a suggestion of shared counselor or social worker in school, and they will be used to increase the attendance support for students. Basically, they would be there to control the dropout rates in the school. And for this, when we look at this, it appears to me if the social worker would also be playing a role, an important, crucial role of being a counselor to these children. And she will be again responsible for general well-being like physical, psychological, and emotional well-being of the children across the school. So when we see these things, we understand that the school need to provide all these things. And when we look at inclusion, inclusion is one of the very important philosophy which looks at the child needs to be provided education which is in appropriate environment, which is suitable to meet his or her needs. So amongst all the models of educations which are available, inclusion is supposed to be most conducive, most friendly and viable approaches for all the children and in co-curricular and curricular domains. So this helps in fostering the overall development of the children. It inculcates confidence. It fosters positive self-concept, self-esteem, and they understand the ethos of sharing and participating when it comes to the school level and the community level. So inclusion gives us the sense of belongingness. It gives us the respect, values, and it also tells us who we are. We are valued for who we are, and we are valued for what, not that something we do. I mean, it believes in the individual's identity. So this brings me to the end of this very important aspect of this NEP. Thank you for a very patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemlata ma'am. Very nice. And we'll be taking the questions in the end so that once we finish off all these speakers, so that, and in case we log out in between, please, you are reminded to log in back with the same password and ID. Thank you. Now I invite Hiteshika Sharma ma'am to be on our board for the next, as the next speaker. She is a PGT, Computer Science with Ryan International School, Faridabad. So I will invite Hiteshika ma'am to speak to us. Ma'am, you can switch on your mic. Hiteshika ma'am, can you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You can share your screen.
Good evening, everybody. It actually gives me the immense pleasure to be here with you all on such a great portal. Thank you, Matthew sir, and thank you, everybody, all friends. And NEP 2020, which was long awaited by all of us. As I think already said by Modi ji, Naye Bharat ki Neev, Nayi Shiksha Niti. And that's very important for all of us. And actually, I hope this will lead us to the great heights, and we all will be leading to it. Education is actually a fundamental for achieving the potential, a human potential, and which will bring all of us to equality in the society. And this is the theme of today's NEP 2020. It is to reimagine and recreate the education, where we are recreating the education by moving on, moving away from the test preparation and the rote learning, just coming to the general work, understanding the child, that what the child's framework, mind frame is going on right now. With a broader mindset, we are moving ahead. It is leading us to the multidisciplinary directions. It's not that the science child will go only with the science. We have, being a parent also, I can say that we have a concept in our mind that we belong to the science stream. I'm a medical stream. I'll only go to the Akash. I'll only go for my medical learning only. I'll not go for any of my hobbies. I'll not go for my games. I'll not go for the music. But yes, NEP has provided us the vocational and the skill subjects. There is new thought process with the skill development, the credit system at every level. This NEP has provided us with the great certification at the every level. I'm completing one course, I'm getting certified. And I think that is a great motivation for all of us. Being an educator at this level also, we get a small certificate, we feel very proud. Yes, I'm getting a certificate for the same. So this is a great motivation for all of us. So let's move ahead. I mainly stress on the teacher education. If I talk about, we all belong to the educator fraternity, and we all see the different categories of the teachers. We all meet different people, and the teacher education is a vital in creating a pool of a school teachers. I think teachers are the main sources where our students are dependent, those who shape out the next generation. Teacher preparation is an activity that requires the multidisciplinary perspectives and knowledge, formation of dispositions and the values. We belonging to the country like India, where everybody is known by its traditions. We are aware. We don't think that this is this festival, this is this festival. We go ahead with that. We are the pillars of the education. We don't work out for the monetary values. We play a great role. So what this NEP is giving, that yes, if you want to be this education field, you need to prove yourself. You need to be well versed with your fields. It's not a matter of a language that you need to express only in the English language or in the Hindi language. You need to come to the state language. You need to come down to the level of a child, that yes, you can understand the tradition from which background the child is coming. The teacher needs to regularly go on updating or upgrading its educational values or educational certification, so that the same thing he or she can pass on further. Okay, teachers play an essential role in the education, most especially in the life of a child. We all are the educators. We create the bond with the student. A child will come and share each and everything with a teacher, not with a parent. Many a times we face certain things. This is my own personal experience, that yes, a child will come and share the thoughts with you instead of sharing with a parent. He has a fear of that parent, that yes, my mother will scold me, my father will scold me. He'll share each and everything with a parent, with a teacher, with the educator, if he or she is having a good bond with this. This defines the ability of a teacher, that how close you are bonded to the child. It's already said by the Dr. Radhakrishnan, teachers should be the best minds in the country. It should not be only the educational qualification. It actually belongs that from which society you're coming and how are you interacting with a child. If you're talking to a small child of a class 1 and 2, you need to interact with that child with that level. You're coming to the senior child, you need to understand that yes, he or she is in a teen age. So a teacher is not a teacher. No, I am a senior teacher. I can talk to you like this only. So I need to come up to that level only. We should not have that mindset. We need to be regularly updated. Government has provided us many portals. We can go ahead. This NEP is actually providing us. Let's move on to the integration. It's not a new term to all of us. We are saying integration. NEP is providing us art integration. NEP is providing us games or music integration. I think we all have worked out from CCE mode where we all were having interactive activities. I think if I'm okay with everybody, we all have worked out with the integration activities where we used to assess the child on every small activity the child used to conduct over there. Integration is that only. But this current generation where we are, if we talk about from the last 6 months, the scenario which we are feeling, which we are facing right now, I think this is a scenario, a pandemic, where a NEP specifies on another major mode that yes, we should always be ready for such situations also. That it should not be that when certain circumstances come, we should get prepared, we should start searching. Yes, we'll conduct our exams on Google Meet, or we will go on Kahoot, or we will go on exam.net. Our educators should be prepared for this certain preparations, for this certain level of the circumstances also. So India is not a country where we have just started with the digital modes. I think we are working on these modes from long back. If we talk about information and communication technology, I would request somebody please stop doing the annotations. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. Okay, if we talk about the India as a country, information and communication technology is nothing new for us. We are moving ahead from the long time. If we talk about the space search, let's talk about the Bhabha Research Center. It's nothing new. It started with India as a country. The Digital India campaign, it is already working out over there. The Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, it is again the mode where our Prime Minister has already provided, yes, we can go on with a hand in hand. So role of education and impact of technology, I would say it is bi-directional. They both are interdependent on each other. That how education is dependent upon a technology and technology is also dependent upon the role of education. I would like to share a small example. We all are educators that if I share a small thing with a video in a class and that will be more interactive, or just a lecture method will be more interactive. Sharing just a book is just a page, or reading in a class that will be more interactive, or just live sharing a story that will create a more impact on a child's mind, whether it is a small child or whether it is a grown-up child. Actually, those animations, those practical performance, it sets a great keeps a great remark on the brain of a small child or a big child. Many new technologies are coming out over there. Our NEP we had already launched up with the AI. If we talk about the current scenario, we see AI is working very successfully. We see in a current corona time also, we have started seeing in the Delhi hospitals also, and many states also, they're working with the robotics over there. The robots are specifically diverted to those specific wards, and they interact with those patients and revert back to the doctors, and they don't feel loneliness over there. They give a live interaction. Now we need to bring all these things to our classrooms. Yes, and the current generation where we are living, these students are much more advanced. We need to bring it to their level, which NEP is forcing on that. Machine learning, the blockchain, smart boards, very common thing. A child is more convenient with a mobile. If you talk about the educator, I think students were much more conveniently able to use their Zoom sessions or the Google Meet sessions. So we need to bring it to the educational level so that yes, They can interact over there. Handheld devices, adaptive computing systems, other forms of educational softwares, and other devices. And discussed about embracing. We need to polish up these technologies so that our students take the full advantage of over the same thing. I would like to show you one scenario where a teacher is talking on completely about the virtual reality. Students love to play the virtual reality games. If you talk about, you move on to, we are regular visitors to the malls over there. But we need to bring this virtual reality to our classrooms, that what will be the future, how this will be implemented, how the robotics will be helping us. If I say, no, I'll be using the 40%, or we need to set certain targets. Yes, I need to work out with certain digital modes so that I can be ahead of other nations over there. Okay. I think this is a small picturization where robotics is presented. If I talk about arts, natural sciences, history, geography, everywhere I can see the digital mode right now. It's not that we are restricted to our textbooks only or only notes only. I think our students are much more well-versed, which we need to brace it up to the digital modes. We need to inculcate these digital modes to their brains. I end my session by saying something, that technology integration gives students keys that opens the doors and releases their creativity. They are really very creative. We need to bring their brains out. We need to polish them out, that yes, you are the best ones, and we need to actually inculcate that creativity in that and polish their creativity and bring out in front of the whole world. Thank you so much being a patient listener and supporting me for all these things. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hiteshika ma'am. Thank you. Very well explained. And now may I invite Annie John ma'am? Annie John ma'am, can you hear me? Annie John ma'am? You will have to unmute yourself, ma'am. You will have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Now fine. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Let me introduce Annie John ma'am. She is the principal of Maulana Azad Memorial School from Trivandrum, Kerala. So, and she's taken quite a number of sessions for us earlier also. So I invite Annie ma'am to present her session. Thank you.
A fabulous evening to all. First of all, let me thank Mr. Matthew Sir, founder and backbone of All India Educator Forum, for arranging such a big platform for us. And also thanks to my panelists for their good support. Today, here we are discussing about the different aspects of National Education Policy. The National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperative of our country. It lays particular emphasis on the development of the creative potential of each individual. The purpose of the education is to develop good human being capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage, creative imagination, and values. A good institution is one in which every student feels welcomed and cared for, where a safe and stimulating environment exists, where a wide range of learning experiences are offered with appropriate resources. Attaining all these qualities must be the goal of every institution. One of the fundamental principles of NEP is recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic and non-academic spheres. Today, here I am going to speak about NEP's support for gifted students, students with special talents. What makes a child gifted and talented? May not always be good grades in school, but a different way of looking at the world and learning. Gift means a present given by somebody, especially loved ones. Children are the gift of God. They are very precious, and we are just their caretakers, mentors, advisors, and so on. Now, who is gifted and talented? Gifted, having extraordinary intellectual ability and creativity. Talented, having exceptional skills and ability in a specific area such as art, music, science, and language. Who are gifted children and how will we identify them? There are academically gifted, intellectually gifted, emotionally gifted, and socially gifted. As teachers, our main role is to identify each child and sort them according to their ability and support them. These children exhibit high performance capability in intellectual, creative, and artistic area, possess an unusual leadership capacity, or excel in specific academic fields. These students need services or activities than what they are getting nowadays. Outstanding talents are present in them. Now let us see the specialities of gifted students. Above average general abilities. They are above average in processing information, integrating experiences, and abstract thinking. They have specific abilities like capacity to acquire knowledge, perform in an activity. They are very good in performing activities. We may met these type of students, but we didn't identify them or notice them. That's our fault. Now, a high level of task commitment. For them, motivation turns into action. But self-confidence and special fascination with a special subject. They are having special interest in some subject. Maybe it is in maths or in science or in arts or language, anything else. So the third one is creativity. They have high originality of thoughts and willingness to take the risk. When we ask them to do something, they are very happy. They are ready to do it. Now let us see the characteristics of these gifted children. They are rapid learners. They put thoughts quickly and absorb information quickly. They are quick to see patterns and relationships. They formulate and support ideas with evidences. Immediately they capture what we teach in the class. Now the next one is self-determination. They pushes teachers and adults for explanations. They always ask questions. They easily bored with routine tasks. They are searching questions. They are very much keen in observation. They want explanations until and unless they clarify the things. Sometimes even teachers and parents, they get angry of these questions. Now they are creative thinking. They produce original ideas, prepare experiments. They are ready to explore their ideas. The next is social leadership. They take initiative in social situations. They inspire groups to meet goals. They are willing to take responsibility. If we give them class leadership to these type of gifted or talented students, they are very happy. They are ready to do anything for the class or for the teacher. Motivational. They are self-directed. They prefer to work independently. They don't want anybody's help. And the other thing is they have excellent memory. Their memory power is more. Large vocabulary and complex sentence structure for age. They tend to talk earlier. They speak complex sentences earlier. They are having the tendency to do things earlier than a normal child. Now, they enjoy solving problems, especially with the numbers and puzzles. They are active in doing problems. And they are keen observers. They are keen observers in what we do. They immediately notice the mistakes. They try to imitate what we do in the class. They observe it. They understand it and they will try to do themselves. Now, great intellectual curiosity. Curiosity that leads to an acquisition of general knowledge, like what objects are composed of, mechanisms of the system, mathematical relationships, languages, and so on. Now let us see how to identify a gifted child. They are curious to ask a lot of questions. They are curious to know about things. They keep on questioning until and unless they get the correct answer. They take their own approach to assignments, their own way to attain the goals. They set the goals, then clarify what is to be required, then they attain the goals. They have large vocabulary and prefer adult conversation. These children need to talk earlier, have larger vocabularies, and use longer sentences than non-gifted children. And they have original ideas, creative ideas. They are sensitive to their environment. Their comfortability depends on the environment or the surroundings. They have strong feelings. They express strong emotions. Now let us come to the main point. How does NEP support gifted students? Nurturing the talents. National education policy is highly supportive to the gifted students. Various methods can be adopted by the teachers as advised by the NEP to develop and bring out the best in children and specifically in gifted children, and can use and show their creative and innovative ideas in learning process. There are innate talents in every child that must be discovered, nurtured, fostered, and developed. These talents may express in the form of varying interest, dispositions, and capacities. These students show capacities and capabilities in certain specific area. Provide supplementary enrichment materials and guidance. Teachers will aim to encourage students with singular interest and talents in the classrooms by giving them supplementary enrichment materials, guidance, and encouragement. Topic-centered and projects-based clubs and circles will be encouraged and supported at the levels of schools, school complexes, districts. Example, science circles, math circles, music and drama performance circles, then chess circles, poetry circles, language, drama, sports, then eco clubs, health clubs, yoga clubs, and so on. Along with these high quality national residential summer programs for secondary schools in various subjects also are there. Now the next is competitions in various subjects. Olympiads and competitions in various subjects will be conducted across the country with clear coordination and progression from school to local, to state and to national levels to ensure that all students may participate at all levels for which they qualify. Schools will develop smart classrooms for using digital pedagogy. Once internet connected smartphones or tablets are available in all homes or schools, online apps with quizzes, competitions, assessments, enrichment materials, and online communications will be developed. Actually, that we are doing now. Now online classes are going on, group activities are going on under the supervision of teachers and parents. For doing all these, teachers will get good training and it will help each and every students to attain their goals. Teachers truly shape the future of our children and therefore future of our nation. Only the very best and most talented became teachers. The motivation and empowerment of teachers is required to ensure the best possible future for our children and our nation. A teacher should be like a potter who molds the clay into different beautiful pots. First of all, the potter understands the quality of the clay. Then he molds it into different beautiful pots. As a parent, we know the quality and interest of our own child. Then as a teacher, why we could not find out the best in a student. Our duty is not only to teach the content to the child, but also we have to find out the best quality and the capacity and the capability of each and every child. NEP is trying to do this. A teacher has to find out the interest of the child. Teacher education also will include the methods and the recognition and fostering of such students' talent and interest. Every child is gifted. They just unwrap their packages at different times. We teachers, it's our duty to find out the quality and taste of each child. We must help them to unwrap the packages. We must mold them in right way. That's what NDP is trying to implement. So, we teachers stand together, work together, and will help each and every student to attain their goals. Thank you. Wish you all a good and blessed year ahead. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Andy ma'am. We have about 4.5 minutes. We'll have to join back once more. I would invite Nusrat Sultana ma'am to unmute herself. She is a maths teacher from one of the Delhi schools here, and she has also published a lot of research paper, papers, if you call it, and on fuzzy mathematics and informatics. And she is the junior HOD in our school, New Horizon School, right? New Horizon School in New Delhi. So I welcome Nusrat ma'am to give her presentation on basically art integration and experiential learning in maths. So Nusrat ma'am, you can unmute yourself and share your screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for attending the webinar, and thank you, Thomas sir, for providing such a wonderful platform. We all teachers are learning a lot of from all these platforms. So without wasting my time, I would like to share my presentation. Sir, please allow me to share my presentation.
Ma'am, you can start sharing.
Yes, sir. Now, experiential learning aligned with National Educational Policy 2020. A more emphasis is given on experiential learning. What is the meaning of experiential learning? Sir, I'm not able to.
Ma'am, just click on the slide that you want to show us. Just click on the.
Okay, sir. This is one of the way. Okay, I can do this also.
If it is not moving, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay, it is not moving.
Yeah, fine.
Sorry, everyone. Now, experiential learning means taking student beyond the classroom. Don't restrict your teaching only into the classroom. Take the students out of the classroom to teach. Now, in all stages, not only in the seniors. Earlier, we were thinking that in seniors only we can do the experiments. In all stages, experiential learning will be adopted as standard pedagogy within each subject. Like hands-on learning, yes, sir, not visible my slides.
Fine, ma'am, fine, it's okay, fine, now, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, it is compulsory to adopt in all stages, in all standard, like hands-on learning, arts integrated, sports integrated education, storytelling based pedagogy, discovery based, discussion based. Now, storytelling based pedagogy is very useful for the languages subjects, and art integrated hands-on learning, it is very important, useful in maths and science. Now, example of experiential learning. Now, going to the zoo and learning through observations is wonderful as compared to reading about animals from a book. It's much better to take your students to a zoo to teach about zoo. Now, there are 4 steps in experiential learning. This is an experiential learning cycle. It is a David A. Kolb's theory. There are 4 steps. Concrete experience. First of all, the learner will doing and having an experience, a reflective observation. Then he will review the first step. Then abstract conceptualization, concluding and learning from experience. And the last one is active experimentation. Then by observing all these, after doing all these steps, he is ready to do what you want. Let us understand this with an example. I'm sharing you with example. Suppose someone want to learn how to ride a bicycle. First of all, what he will do? It is receiving a practical techniques from a biking expert. He will not start cycling once. ये थोड़ी कि वो एकदम से cycle start करना शुरू कर देगा. First of all, he will take tips and techniques from biking expert. It is known as concrete experience. Second step, reflective observation.